Wonders of Adriatic, the hidden places no one talks about. Travel guide. Everyone talks about the Adriatic like it is a single postcard. Turquoise water, stone towns, endless summer light. But here is what rarely gets mentioned. The Adriatic stretches along more than 1,300 kilometers of coastline, touching multiple countries, shaping cultures, and hiding places that feel almost deliberately overlooked. Beyond the cruise ship ports and famous walled cities, there are coves with no crowds, islands where time moves differently, and mountain villages staring straight down at the sea. This is not the Adriatic most people scroll past online. This is the Adriatic that rewards curiosity. Vis Island, Croatia. Far from the busier islands of Far and Brac, Vis Island sits quietly in the open Adriatic, closer to Italy than to mainland Croatia. For decades, it was a military base, closed to foreign visitors, which unintentionally preserved its authenticity. Today, that history is the reason it feels untouched. Fishing boats still line the harbor in Vis town, and stone houses climb gently up the hills without flashy renovations. Hidden beaches like Stiniva Cove reveal themselves only after a steep walk, framed by towering cliffs that open suddenly to clear blue water. The sea here feels deeper in color, almost ink blue in certain light, and the pace is slower without trying to be. Even the famous Blue Cave on nearby Basevo Island feels more intimate when approached from Vis rather than on a rushed day trip. Lastovo Archipelago, Croatia. Further south lies the Lastovo Archipelago, one of the least populated island groups in the Adriatic. Protected as a nature park, it remains largely undeveloped, with dense pine forests covering steep hills that drop dramatically into the sea. The main village of Lastovo is set inland, its chimneys uniquely shaped like small sculptures rising above terracotta roofs. At night, the sky turns intensely dark due to minimal light pollution, revealing stars that seem multiplied. The coastline is carved with secluded coves reachable by boat or winding trails, and the water clarity rivals anywhere in the Mediterranean. What stands out most is the silence. There are no loud beach clubs or crowded promenades. The atmosphere feels deliberate, almost protective, as if the islands decided long ago to remain understated. It is a reminder that not every beautiful place seeks attention. Proclitage Mountains, Montenegro. While Montenegro's Bay of Kotor attracts constant admiration, the Proclitage Mountains in the northeast remain far quieter. Often called the Accursed Mountains, this rugged range rises sharply near the border with Albania, forming jagged peaks and deep glacial valleys. The contrast between sea-level towns and these alpine landscapes is striking. Here, wooden farmhouses sit beneath towering limestone walls, and hiking trails lead to crystal-clear mountain lakes that reflect sharp ridgelines. The air feels cooler, thinner, and completely different from the coastal humidity. Small villages like Gusinje offer insight into traditions shaped by isolation and resilience. The Adriatic influence fades slightly here, replaced by raw mountain energy. Yet the sea is never truly far. This hidden dimension adds depth to the idea of Adriatic travel, proving it is not only about beaches, but also about dramatic highlands. Rovinj, Old Town Backstreets, Croatia. Rovinj is no secret, but most visitors stay along its main harbor and church viewpoints. Slip into the back streets, and a different atmosphere emerges. Narrow alleys twist unpredictably. Laundry hangs between pastel buildings, and tiny art studios hide behind wooden doors. The scent of salt mixes with fresh bread drifting from local bakeries. Away from the main square, conversations echo softly off stone walls, polished smooth by centuries of footsteps. Small staircases lead to quiet courtyards where cats nap in filtered sunlight. These overlooked corners transform a popular destination into something intimate. The Adriatic has always been about trade, culture, and layered identities, and nowhere is that more visible than in these residential streets where daily life continues beyond the tourist lens. Kornati Islands, Croatia. Scattered like fragments across the central Adriatic, the Kornati Islands form a stark, almost lunar landscape. Over 100 islands and islets stretch across clear blue water, many of them barren and rocky, shaped by wind and salt rather than forests. Approaching by boat reveals dramatic cliffs plunging straight into the sea on the outer edges, while inner bays offer calm anchorages. There are few permanent residents, and much of the area is protected as a national park. The absence of development becomes the defining feature. Without hotels lining the shore, the islands feel elemental. Sunlight reflects intensely off pale stone, and the sea shifts from deep sapphire to transparent turquoise depending on depth. It is a place that feels stripped down to essentials, where horizon and water dominate the senses. Himare, Albania. On Albania's Riviera, Himare sits between dramatic mountains and the Ionian branch of the Adriatic system, often bypassed for more publicized towns. Yet its beaches curve gracefully beneath steep hills dotted with olive trees, and its old town rests higher up, offering sweeping coastal views. Stone houses cluster along narrow lanes, and the atmosphere carries both Mediterranean warmth and Balkan resilience. The water is startlingly clear, and nearby coves remain quiet even during peak season. The surrounding mountains create a natural amphitheater, giving sunsets a layered depth as light fades behind rugged silhouettes. Himare captures the raw potential of a coastline still defining its tourism identity, balancing growth with authenticity. Comacchio, Italy. In Italy's Emilia-Romagna region, Comacchio often lives in the shadow of Venice, yet its network of canals and pastel buildings creates its own distinct charm. Small bridges arch gently over narrow waterways, and reflections shimmer in the afternoon light. The town's history is tied to fishing and eel harvesting, shaping a culinary tradition rooted in the surrounding lagoons. Unlike larger Italian cities, Comacchio moves at a calmer rhythm. Locals cycle along cobbled paths, and quiet piazzas replace crowded landmarks. The Adriatic influence is present in the salty breeze drifting inland, connecting lagoon life to the wider sea beyond. It feels intimate and grounded, offering a glimpse into coastal Italy without overwhelming spectacle. Durmi, Clifftop, Albania. Above the beaches of Durmi rises a forgotten old village clinging to the mountainside. Many visitors head straight to the shoreline, unaware that stone houses and crumbling churches overlook the sea from higher ground. Walking through these quiet lanes reveals wooden balconies facing endless blue, and the perspective transforms the coastline into something vast and cinematic. The climb up is steady, but the reward is an uninterrupted horizon stretching across the Ionian waters. This elevated vantage point shifts attention away from crowded beach scenes and toward the broader geography shaping the Adriatic edge. Trieste, Karst Plateau, Italy. Above the city of Trieste rises the Karst Plateau, a limestone landscape shaped by caves, sinkholes, and windswept grasslands. From certain viewpoints, the Adriatic appears suddenly beyond the cliffs, a brilliant sheet of blue contrasting against pale rock. Small villages dot the plateau, their stone houses built to withstand the strong bora winds that sweep in from the northeast. Vineyards thrive in this unique terrain, and underground caverns like the Grotta Gigante reveal vast subterranean chambers carved by time. The plateau adds a geological layer to the Adriatic narrative, reminding travelers that the sea's story continues inland through stone and wind. The Adriatic is not a single destination. It is a mosaic of islands, mountains, peninsulas, lagoons, and villages that stretch across cultures and borders. The places that rarely make headlines often carry the strongest sense of identity. If this journey through the hidden Adriatic reshaped how you see this coastline, support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more in-depth travel guides, and sharing it with someone who believes they have already seen the Mediterranean at its best. There is always another cove, another mountain, another quiet street waiting beyond the obvious.